Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Common Constitutionalist Weekend Podcast, and again, this is going to be another audio version. It's just been a wild weekend, and this is about the only thing that I've got time to do this weekend, so I figured I would at least get the audio version in. So today we'll be talking about hopefully 3 topics, if I can get to them. The first is about Kirsten Gillibrand, the Senate Democrat from upstate New York, who says, "My constituents outside New York City are wrong and racist about guns and immigration." Egad. The second one's from The Blaze, and it's regarding ICE sweeps in Los Angeles of about 100 undocumented immigrants, illegal aliens, and how uncooperative the Los Angeles jurisdiction is with the federal ICE agents. And last, and certainly not least, is my man Ted Cruz is back in the headlines. And boy, I don't think he's ever going to be invited on Fox and Friends due to his disagreement with the Fox and Friends hosts over President Trump's immigration plan. Didn't go quite as well as I think the Fox News hosts would have predicted. And so I don't think he's going to be invited back again. So all that today on the Common Constitutionalist.
You are listening to the Common Constitutionalist, broadcasting from an undisclosed location, free from the prying eyes of establishment black helicopters.
Alright, this first segment comes to us from the NTK network, and it's entitled, "Gillibrand, My Constituents Outside New York City Are Wrong and Racist About Guns and Immigration." Oh, jeez. And the weird thing about, I'll get into the weird thing about Kirsten Gillibrand, but Kirsten Gillibrand is a Senate Democrat from upstate New York, basically if you can call it this, the only kind of conservative part of the state left. And the odd thing about this, her positions today, is that she's been an avid hunter all her life. She never shied away from guns, and interestingly, she had an A rating from the NRA. Not anymore, but she did. And shocker of shockers, she's done a 180. Now she's all about gun violence and gun confiscation, and almost like her fellow New Yorker and her senior, Chucky Schumer. And basically he's acting as her puppeteer at this point. And we all knew actually when she was elected a few years ago, or several years ago, I guess it's been now. We all knew that basically she was going to become Chuck Schumer's puppet. It didn't make any difference what she was prior to winning the Senate seat, that she was going to do whatever the crap Chuck Schumer, she was going to do his bidding. And it didn't make any difference whether it went against her beliefs in guns, whether it went against her beliefs on immigration. She was going to be the good soldier, and she was going to do and say exactly what Chuck Schumer commanded her to do and say. And that even includes throwing her own constituents, the people who actually elected her, under the bus, which she has in fact done. In an interview, the NTK network writes, in an interview with 60 Minutes, it was CBS News' 60 Minutes on Sunday, this past Sunday, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, Democrat, New York, slammed the opinions of her constituents who lived outside New York City, calling them wrong on immigration and gun rights. Which is really ridiculous because, like I said, she previously had an A rating from the National Rifle Association, the NRA, and she also has opposed sanctuary cities and amnesties for illegal immigrants. So CBS News' Sharon Alfonsi questioned Gillibrand about her previous support for gun rights, asking, "Why the 180? Now dig this. I only had the lens of upstate New York," she responded, saying her views reflected those of her district. Gillibrand, I guess, described these views as wrong. So basically everybody in her district had voted for her because she was for gun rights and against illegal immigration, they're all wrong now. What a stunner. And she told Miss Alfonsi that I was embarrassed by my positions, she said. Just incredible. Could you imagine voting for this woman and then sitting back years later and listening to this bullcrap saying, what have I gotten myself into? Well, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Well, you elected a Democrat in I think probably a mildly Democrat or Republican district. What did you think was going to happen? You didn't think that she was going to be under Chucky Schumer's thumb? Are you kidding me? So Alfonsi shifted the conversation to immigration, pointing out that the senator held beliefs similar to President Trump on the issue, and she did in fact. Can you understand President Trump's position on immigration since you were there? Alfonsi asked. No, I think his positions are racist, Gillibrand exclaimed. So basically, she used to be a racist, but now she's an enlightened leftist. Yes, indeedy, because she used to be for border security. She used to be against sanctuary cities, and she used to be against illegal immigration, and she was for deportation. Now all of a sudden, all those things, her former self, were racist. Unbelievable. No, it's not unbelievable. It's believable. But much to the credit of Miss Alfonsi, she listed the positions that Gillibrand held that are now held by the Trump administration. Quote, you were against amnesty, against sanctuary cities. You supported accelerated deportation, unquote. Gillibrand blamed her positions on the fact that she had to appease a congressional district that was 98% white. Her congressional district that got her elected originally. Egad. A not-so-subtle suggestion that she believed her constituents to be racist. Yeah, it wasn't so subtle, was it? And the senator again claimed that she was embarrassed and ashamed of her previous positions, which basically means she's embarrassed and ashamed of her constituents, the people who actually got her elected. Talk about a elitist, leftist pig. Unfreaking believable. But that's a Democrat, that's a New York Democrat, and that's a Chuck Schumer Democrat. You gotta love them. And the truth makes no difference, and apparently either do her constituents. So we will be right back after this break with with another exciting segment. Yeesh.
You're listening to The Common Constitutionalist. Let the truth be known.
Okay, so welcome back. And as luck would have it, we have another segment on this time on strictly immigration, not gun control. And the Blaze reports that ICE sweeps detain over 100 in uncooperative jurisdiction of Los Angeles, as if there's a cooperative jurisdiction of Los Angeles. Holy crap. They write that Immigrations and Customs Enforcement agents, ICE, conducted a massive sweep. I don't know how, a massive sweep of Los Angeles area, netting over 100 alleged illegal immigrants in a raid. Yeah, okay, fine. Netting over 100 alleged illegal immigrants in a raid that the agency said was part of a crackdown on uncooperative jurisdictions like Los Angeles. In other words, sanctuary cities in a sanctuary state. A sanctuary state. You believe this crap? Wall it off, baby. Wall it off. Take some jackhammers and just separate it and let it float out into the Pacific. It's just too bloody late for these people. So they write in a statement provided to KCL-TV in Los Angeles, ICE spokesperson indicated that ICE intends to further increase their enforcement activity in the coming weeks and months. A yay for the Trump administration. Hooray for you, Trumpster. Good on you, brother. Allowing the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency to actually do what they were hired to do. What a novel idea. So according to a statement, quote, ICE no longer exempts classes or categories of removable aliens. Beep boop bop, removable alien. Okay, let me try that one again. Quote, ICE no longer exempts classes or categories of removable aliens from potential enforcement. All of those in violation of the immigration laws may be subject to immigration arrest, detention, and if found removable by final order. Sounds like a stain you're trying to remove. Oh, get that stain out. And if found removable by final order, removal from the United States, unquote. Man, it's just, it gives you chills up and down your spine just to hear this stuff, that they're actually going to do what they were hired to do and what the law tells them to do. What a novelty. Now, here's a stunner. In a statement provided to NPR, just the fact that ICE would even speak to NPR is a stunner. I guess they kind of have to. If NPR comes a calling, what are you going to do? Say, sorry, you're a bunch of leftist commies. We ain't talking to you. Yeah, that would work for me, but I guess you kind of can't say that. So in a separate statement provided to NPR, ICE stated that the raids were not carried out at random, but rather that they targeted, quote, individuals who pose a threat to national security, public safety, and border security, unquote. That's like everybody. That's like every illegal immigration poses a threat to public safety and border security. Well, but that's just, it's one of those terms that they can just throw out to make it sound more important or more threatening than it really is. The email also blamed Los Angeles law enforcement for failing to assist the raids and causing ICE to, quote, use additional resources to conduct at-large arrests in the community, putting officers, the general public, and the aliens, boo-boo, bop, alien, at risk, and increasing the incidence of collateral arrests, unquote. And that's true. A lot more can happen if you have an uncooperative local authorities, shall we say. And boy, I'll tell you, these people were commanded to be uncooperative. Could you imagine being one of the local cops there and being told basically just to stand down and you're not allowed to do your job, you're not allowed to assist the feds, and you know it's the right thing to do and you're commanded not to do it? I mean, it's just, talk about put in a moral dilemma, in a bind. It's ridiculous. I just don't understand how they, I don't know. And the Blaze continues by writing that ICE agents also recently conducted raids on 77 businesses in Northern California. I don't know if this has anything to do with the 7-Eleven crackdown or whether this was part of it, some of it, all of it, not part of it, was completely separate. Don't know. But good. I'm just thrilled. And they say that California Governor Jerry Brown effectively made the entire state of California, as I just said, a sanctuary state when he signed a bill last October that prevented local law enforcement from enforcing immigration holds or from inquiring into any person's immigration status. It's just these people are just so out there where the buses don't run. It's just it's too bloody late for California, and I feel bad for the tiny little minority out in the hinterlands of California that have to live with these whack job leftists on the coast. Maybe what we could do is just wall off the coast and leave the farmland and whatnot where the conservatives lay, the Reaganites lay out in the hinterlands and the farmlands of California, and just kind of jackhammer off the left coast and let it float out, to float over to Indonesia or somewhere. I don't know. But it's the most, I couldn't imagine, coming to this planet, the first thing you do is you get a chance to look at our immigration laws and whatnot. And then the very next thing you get a chance to watch TV and listen to the radio and whatnot, and listen to these leftist jerkwads just spouting their nonsense. And you look back and say, well, the law is the law. Aren't you supposed to follow as governors, as mayors, as police commissioners and everything? You're not supposed to follow federal law. I mean, it's just, or even previous state laws or whatnot. It's just, the absurdity is unfathomable. I just don't understand it. So, and I don't think I ever will. I mean, other than the fact, I mean, I guess I do understand it, because it's all about power. It's all about power and control, and the way that they're going to retain their power and control, the Democrats, both locally, state, and federally, is they know that they need these people on their side. They know they need illegal immigrants on their side, and they know eventually that they're going to need these people as their new voting bloc, because that's the only way they're going to be able to retain power. And so I guess that's that. So we're going to take another break, and we'll be right back with the last segment on my man Ted Cruz, who is back. You're listening to me, the Common Constitutionalist.
Yeah, baby!
Okay, welcome back to the final segment of the Common Constitutionalist weekend audio version of the podcast. And again, I apologize. Although, like I said, I think last weekend when I wasn't able to do a video, it's been a little bit hectic around here. It's been very busy, and the audio portion, or the audio version of the podcast, is a lot easier to, I guess, produce, for want of a better term, and it's a lot quicker. It doesn't take as much time. So when I don't have the time to do the video, I'll at least attempt to do the audio, because I know everybody loves it so. And I enjoy doing it, so what the heck. So this last segment is by several sources, so I'm not going to bother with it. But I've entitled this last segment, Ted Cruz will never be invited back to Fox and Friends. And I would be stunned. I would be absolutely stunned if he ever was invited back to Fox and Friends after the performance that he gave on the Fox and Friends recently. I think it was just last week, regarding immigration, and boy howdy did he go off. As much as Ted Cruz can go off. I mean, even when he gets really mad, it's very measured, and he's not. Everybody thinks that he speaks that way because he's some sort of smarmy politician, but he always speaks that way. I remember Glenn Beck saying back during the campaign, the primaries, before Cruz got beaten by Trump in the primaries, that, Cruz is a misunderstood politician because he's always this way. He always talks in these terms. He's so highly educated. He just always speaks this way, and he thinks this way, and he never forgets anything. I think I don't know if he's got an eidetic memory. I have no idea. All I know is that he's a really, really smart guy, and that's the way he presents himself, and that is him. It's not just some jive performance. So anyway, Brian Kilmeade, this past Thursday, asked Cruz which of the Republicans, and this was really great because you saw it. I didn't witness it firsthand, so I went back and watched the YouTube replay of this thing, and it was funny because they were very cordial to begin with. I don't know what they were expecting him to say, but it apparently wasn't this, because I don't know whether, I'm not sure whether he went off script or I don't know what the crap they were thinking. But my fandom of Fox and Friends, at least the three hosts, have waned over the recent months just because of their sycophantic following of President Trump. It's unhealthy, is what it is. The unquestioning following of President Trump is unhealthy. It's okay. It's fine and dandy, and I am a Trump supporter, but I am not unquestioning drone Trump supporter. I just won't do it. I can't do it. So anyway, to begin again, Brian Kilmeade asked Cruz on Thursday which of the Republican immigration plans he would accept. And they must have obviously thought that he was going to accept one, or, give his advice or something like that, but accept one of these plans. Cruz basically said neither of them, and they don't make any sense. None of them make any sense at all. He said, plain and simple, we should not be granting citizenship to people here illegally, period. And Kilmeade interrupted. Already, he wasn't angry quite yet, Kilmeade, but he was confused, as if this isn't what Senator Cruz was supposed to say, or I wasn't expecting him to say this. Kilmeade interrupted, saying, quote, so you don't even like the president's plan? And he was confused. I could see it in his eyes. He was confused. It's like, what? Are you kidding me? You've got to be able to at least accept the Trump plan. So this, as they say, by not accepting the Trump plan, which he doesn't, this was sacrilege to the hosts of the Fox and Friends. You just don't. You may not speak ill of or disagree with anything said or proposed by His Majesty the Trumpster. That's in their eyes, and that's the way they treat this guy. It's unbelievable. He can say no wrong. He could do no wrong. Everything is excused, and that is unhealthy. And basically, Cruz just waltzed right into the lion's den and locked the door behind him. And no matter what he said, no matter how reasoned or logical it was, they just kept coming back at him, making excuse after excuse for his the DACA Dreamer plan, the excuse for amnesty, the excuse for path to citizenship. They excused everything. It was like we were in a bizarro world. And frankly, I half expected any moment during the interview that Brian Kilmeade, who wasn't actually Brian Kilmeade, but he was going to tear off a mask and reveal that Cruz was actually speaking with undercover Chris Cuomo, somehow got on the set, put a Brian Kilmeade mask off, and tore it off Chris Cuomo from CNN. That's half of what I expected, frankly, because it was just, the position was just so absurd. And all three of them, they were attempted. Steve Ducey, not as much. But Kilmeade and, oh crap, I can't remember what her name is. What's her face that sits in the middle there? They just continually attempted to defend the indefensible, giving illegal aliens a free ride to citizenship and bumping illegals ahead of the others. And it's something that all three of these, prior to Trump, had already publicly opposed. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing, the transformation. And also, as Cruz pointed out, for every illegal that we make legal, they take the job of an American. Not to mention Cruz's reminder of the constant promises from Republicans, and especially Trump, that this wouldn't occur, period. And this is what we promised. There would be no amnesty. There would be no path to citizenship, period. That's what we heard, and that's what we expected, because Trump is a man of his word. And the Fox and Friends crew are supposed to be as good as their word, but yet they've evolved, or they've transformed, or they've morphed into Democrats on this particular issue. And I'd like to say I don't understand it, but we all do understand. And then later on, after the Fox and Friends thing, Cruz was interviewed by CRTV about what is likely to happen in 2018 should the Republicans pass something in both houses granting amnesty and a path to citizenship to illegal aliens. And Cruz basically said, I don't have the quote in front of me, but I know what he said. He said basically that we're going to lose both houses. We're going to lose the Senate. If we sign on to something like this that gives amnesty, mass amnesty to millions of illegals, and mass path to citizenship, bumping everybody else in favor of millions of illegals, we are likely to lose the Senate. We're likely to lose the House, and Speaker Nancy Pelosi will impeach and indict President Trump, period. And that's exactly, Cruz is 100% right on this thing. And his message should be heeded. So all you diehard Trump supporters out there who are not necessarily big fans of the spineless Republicans, you'd better start making phone calls to Congress and the Senate to change their minds on this immigration nonsense before it's too late and they make the mistake of theirs and our lifetimes. And believe you me, it is going to be a monumental error in judgment if they cave to this nonsense. And if you want to legitimize this thing, you could easily say that the Republicans, through their spinelessness, have put the president in a really, really tough position. This is legislation, okay? The president isn't supposed to be suggesting, he can suggest it, but he doesn't write legislation. That's up to the Congress, and that's to be passed by the Congress and then the Senate. Remember, I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Remember that? That's the way it works, okay? Congress and the Senate make the laws. The president signs them. It's that simple. He doesn't make the laws. He doesn't write the laws. He can suggest things, but that's all he can do. So they put this guy in a box, basically, and figuring, and he's got to make a deal one way or the other because he's the deal maker. And so it's just, I hope that he doesn't make the deal. If they decide to do something without the border wall or something like this, it's going to be a huge error. And he, like I said, like Rush Limbaugh said, he is, this could kill the Trump presidency. If he signs on to this immigration nonsense the way it's being written currently, this could be the one thing that kills the Trump presidency. It's the one thing that's going to cause people to walk away from him, not just the Republicans. And in closing, I have a suggestion about border security and how maybe we could, tie the things together. You know how the Democrats always get what they want first, and then they promise that within a 10-year span or something like that, the Republicans will get what they want. And then that 10 years never occurs, obviously, because the Republicans never get what they want. And year after year, the Republicans stupidly fall for the same silly argument or suggestions. So here's what I suggest. I suggest that we tie the border wall to a path to citizenship. For it may say, okay, Democrats, you want your path to citizenship, you want amnesty for these DACAs and Dreamers and whatnot. Here's what we're going to do. You give the money for the border wall to the president, and then you say, go build the wall. For every mile of completion of the border wall, not a fence, not a virtual fence, not just border security, but an actual physical big blanket wall like we saw the demonstrations down in Arizona or San Diego, or wherever the crap they're made, those samples. So you tie the border wall to a path to citizenship, and for every mile of border wall that's completed, you allow 500 DACA people a path to citizenship. Okay, you sign some temporary continuing resolution saying, okay, fine, they're allowed to stay here. And then that's what you do. You say for every mile of the border wall, of a physical, actual border wall that's completed, not some semblance thereof, for every mile that's completed, you are allowed say a 10-year path to citizenship for 500 DACA recipients. And that's what you do. That way everybody gets what they want, and everybody will get what they want, and we will certainly get what we want, which is a freaking border wall. So that's about all I've got today. I hope you guys have a blessed balance of the weekend. There ain't much left of it. Oh, no, that's right. For some, there's President's Day, so it's a long weekend for some, not for me, but that's okay. And I've got to go out and shovel snow because it snowed to beat the band last night here. Yay. Can't wait for spring. Boy, guess the groundhog was right. 6 more weeks of winter. Ugh. And I guess that's about all I got. So this is the Common Constitutionalist signing off. See ya.